Good afternoon and welcome to today's, what is it, Forge Your Future Friday. I do like to pick those long drawn out names. I'm just going to put that, get that off of there. Yes, I think this is going live. Again, I'm really getting used to where I need to look at the moment, which still always feels really pivotal, especially as we come into the space of the equinox. I can see that my whole screen is wobbling, and I don't know about you guys, but there's a real opportunity at the moment to stabilize ourselves, to look at where our energy is going, to look at whether or not that helps maintain balance and harmony in our lives, or whether, well, yes, either way it will help us maintain balance and harmony in our lives, but that may involve wobbling us so that we can return to what it is we need at this moment in time. So what is that? Well, I can't see anyone in the comment section at the moment. I do apologize if you're there, and it just hasn't come up on my computer at the moment. But what I'm going to do, because nobody has brought in any questions in Messenger, I'm going to look at the collective energy for this weekend, because I've decided not to be on social media over this weekend at least, but probably most weekends now, to have that time to myself, to step back from the spotlight, quite literally from the lives of social media, and being ever present. There's quite a lot of pressure there at the moment, of this feeling of having to be everywhere for everyone at every point in time, and collectively that's starting to rise. Even with the weather outside, you can see that autumn is giving its last push this opportunity to really reap what it is that we've sowed at the moment, to really bring in everything that we've tried to put into place, and emphasis being tried. It isn't any different to what we're used to, but there does feel almost as if a forced energy is there to try and give more than what we're able to give. You know, there's a fine line at the moment, and it is causing confusion, and what I'm going to do is just listen to the guidance and turn down the background noise. And that can have such an impact. Turning down the background noise, tuning in to what is actually going on for us in each moment is going to be key this weekend. So what is going on? Well, we do have the equinox, we do have the portals, but we always have portals. We do have different stages that are coming up, but it feels the most important thing to balance us right now is to focus on where we are. So what is going on with this equinox? It doesn't feel like a normal autumnal equinox. It feels almost as if it's an opportunity for the light to return, but we're not in December yet, we're not in the solstice yet, but it almost seems as if everything that's happening now is leading up to that, which it does anyway, we know this, but this something feels different, and there's an energy here that can't quite be pinpointed, and to enjoy that almost, to feel into that almost. So there's no comments at the moment, and I can't see that there's any anybody watching. So what I will do is set the intention to do a collective reading for the next few days over the equinox, and take it from there. If there's anyone visible after that, please feel free to put a question in the comments. If not, we'll do the best we can. For those that have read the newsletter this week, there's a real emphasis on the 4 agreements, not to take anything personally, and boy has there been some tests with that this week. Not to assume anything, to ask questions, not to assume even from ourselves, to be authentic with what is going on for us. And you know, that doesn't mean we have to go out shouting and saying this is where I'm at, this is what I need, da 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 da, but to recognize that in ourselves first. I put on a event yesterday, I call that therapy event, and the focus was going to be on listening, and the irony was nobody turned up, and I could really feel into that, what that meant for me, what it was I was hearing in that, you know, and use that as an opportunity to pivot, to adapt, to change, to feel into what works and what doesn't on all levels, not just in my offerings in this page, but in the offerings for myself. And that is an opportunity this weekend. It can feel very uncomfortable, but it's about going through. So most things have a beginning, middle and end, and it's about completing the cycle. So we can have things that trigger us, that initiate something within us, that make us desire a different outcome. And then after that, you know, like when we want to lose a bit of weight, or got the King of Cups at the bottom of the pack, when we lose a bit of weight, want to lose a bit of weight, or start a new project, we get that initial spark, yeah, And then we get all the reasons that we can't, all the reasons that it's not going to happen, all the reasons we might as well just stop what we're doing. Now, if we stop there, nothing changes. We're in the middle part of that cycle, like the 5 in the tarot. We're at that turning point, that pendulum. And that's where a lot of us are actually finding ourselves this weekend with the equinox, which is perfectly timed. That's what it's about, finding that balance. So what is going to take us forward from that? This is what I would like to change. This is all the reasons that I can't. This is what I'm going to do about it. Well, it's the King of Cups. It's really important that we feel these things. And oh shit, sometimes they're really uncomfortable. But if we can go into it without trying to figure out an answer, without trying to find a solution here, you know, the King of Cups, this card in particular, it's the sacred masculine. It's the ability to witness the uncomfortableness. It's the ability to witness change, birth, deliverance of something different, and not jump in where we're not needed, but to feel what is going on so that we can hold space for whatever wants to shift within us and subsequently around us as a result. Underneath we have the Nine of Pentacles, and you know, if ever there was a card for the equinox, the Nine of Pentacles, reaping what we sow here, really collecting and harvesting what we've put in, taking that moment to focus, to reflect. What have we gained? What have we learned? How can we see these things from a different perspective? We may not want to take these things forward, but it's the age-old saying, what we resist persists, right? So if we can feel into it, give it a bit of humor, give it a bit of curiosity, move with it. You know, the Four of Wands here, move with it for the actual stability and balance that it can bring. Balance doesn't come from standing still. Balance comes from being moved and finding our center within that movement. Why don't we? The Seven of Cups underneath, there's lots and lots of decisions here. There's lots of options here. But are there lots of options? Ultimately, the main decider here is who's going to make those decisions. Is it going to be the person that's undecided, or is it the person that's going to take stock, step back, feel into what is right for them, hone into their emotional intelligence and wisdom, take what it is they now need based on what they have put in, based on their own value and their worth? This weekend is going to be a real cincher for the difference between internal worth, self-worth, and external worth. It's going to be a real decider as to what is going to move us forward now. The Chariot underneath. Is it going to be our shadow? Is it going to be what we've gained from working with our shadow? Is it going to be our light that refuses to look at our shadow? Or is it going to be a beautiful balance of both? It's the equinox, right? It's the balance. Hi Marie, it's the balance of night and day, and it's that that's going to move us forward. So to balance that, that does mean actually embracing the discomfort. What is in this discomfort? Is there any answers here for me to find? And there may not be, and that could be an answer in itself, but you're not going to know. We're not going to know collectively unless we can feel into that. So what do we need to provide a safe environment in order to do that? For me, it's movement, listening to my body, sometimes a bar of chocolate, a nice bath, a scream, you know, a rant. The amount of times I've given my finger up to Great Spirit or whatever, and that's okay, knowing that that's all welcome, that it's all part of the process to restore balance. Balance isn't something that is there all the time, otherwise it wouldn't be balance. It comes with movement, and it comes with being centered within that, and that is what the equinox is offering us from both sides, the light and the dark, because they're both equal this weekend. Marie, would you like a card, my love? Do you have any questions? Is there anything that you'd like me to look into? The theme does seem to be the equinox, but obviously with the equinox, as you've just heard, we do have the balance. And for those that aren't here, that didn't get to answer a question, or that are watching it on replay, hi. You may find that some of this is relevant to you as well, and if you do have any questions of anything that's come up, please just send me a message. Okay, you know where I am. But I'm not here over the weekend. I've decided that I'm not going to be on social media over the weekend from this point onwards. So I can't actually see any questions. Oh yes, please. Anything in general? Do you have a question or anything in general? Just let me know in the comments, and we'll have a look into that. And what I'm really picking up here, whether this is for yourself, Marie, or for us all, is to take a moment to have that pause. Do we? What are our questions? Where are they coming from? Are they based on one thing in particular, or are they affecting all areas of our life? Go with general. Yeah, okay. So, really important to take a moment to pause. I'm acutely aware of who I'm saying that to, so please don't shoot the messenger. Only when we pause can we realise how much we've done. Only when we pause can we, and what I'm seeing is almost stopping ourselves from stepping into quicksand. Only when we pause can we recognise the environment around us, and that it feels important to acknowledge what is yours and what isn't yours here. So as this is for you, Marie, by pausing, what happens is you can actually put your feet firmly on the ground. You can see what is going on around you and not step into the quicksand of where you've already been or situations around you. Yeah. You have the 9 of Wands at the bottom of the pack. I am going to shuffle that because it does feel like there's a new energy trying to come in with that. Like there's been so much work that's been done with that. And actually standing firm in that. Standing firm in that, you know, this fence isn't that big here. It started off here, it's come right down to here, but it doesn't mean that you're at the point quite of letting it go completely. Having those healthy boundaries in place feels quite beneficial. They are coming to an end, but not in the fact that they're being let down or removed. They are being utilized for what they were always meant to be. Not so much in a protective, defensive manner, but in a this is what I'm taking forward manner. So let's shuffle the cards and see generally where that's actually going to take you, because that feels very much about what you've gained, what you've had chance to reflect on. There's a real fog around my head, like there's a new energy trying to come through, but there is a bit of defensiveness around that. So the Fool card at the bottom of the pack, that beautiful free energy that's trying to come through that says let's start again, let's do this again, let's investigate again. Okay, so we've learnt the shadow aspects of so much, and when I say that, it's like, oh, I'm not going back there. No, it's not about going back. Going back is not starting again. Starting again is fresh perspectives, fresh ideas, fresh ways of doing things. There isn't a need to go back and learn anymore here, and I can feel that right under the ribs, almost as if the ribs are trying to open right up into the heart. And the other card here is the 6 of Cups, very much linked to a more inner child way of seeing things. It's not about that. So it's about nurturing the inner child, because whether you like it or not, Marie, I'm just going to put it out there are things that your inner child wants to do. There are things that your innocence wants to play with, wants to reinvestigate. It does involve magic, it does involve ceremony, it does involve spiritual work, and yes, there is a new journey there waiting for you, but it is about recognizing it's a new journey. And the only way to make that new comes from you. Okay, it comes from you looking up, not looking at what has happened now, giving yourself permission to say, I'm done. There is a new way, there is a different way of doing these things, because I know there is. So how about I start to create that new way? And I can definitely take that on board myself, so thank you for that. Recognizing as well, Marie, when you do show up in these situations, there are going to be people that almost breathe a sigh of relief for what it is you are bringing forward, because they too feel the way that you do. But getting out there and sharing yourself and sharing your wisdom in a new way is really quite important for you right now, to avoid going back to how things were. Okay, so one more for you. I don't want to put it all on you. Just as I say that, I don't want to put it all on you, like being too much emphasis, just really bombarding you with information. You actually have the King of Pentacles. It is time to kind of make it about you. It is time to kind of stand in that now, to stand in the wisdom that you've gained, to step up almost physically in what it is you are capable of doing. It is all about you. Your life, just like all of us, is all about you, and feeling into that with more, we've come full circle to the King of Cups here, more emotional maturity and being okay with that. Okay, I've done this is what I offer, take it, leave it, but I'm still going to get out there and do it, starting with those steps. Okay, I hope that helps. If you've got any questions, lovely reading, you are more than welcome. Any questions on that, just either let me know on here, because we do have time, or just give me a message. And I look forward to seeing what it is you take out there. And you know where I am if you want anyone to collaborate with, because yeah, I'd work with you. Oh, too low. Again, there's something here about the frame rate of my internet being quite low. So I do apologise if there are more people waiting. Okay. As I feel into the energy, whether will be for someone that is watching it back on replay, whether it's for whatever's going on now or the weekend equinox, I feel quite, I want to say dismayed, but it's not dismayed. It's tired and balanced and soft, and a real need to nurture whatever is going on right now. When I tuned into whether or not to do the reading for today, I was very drawn to rose quartz crystals. I was very drawn to almost wanting to give information, but knowing that there was a need to do it in a more gentle manner and perhaps not on a live. So if that does, love your workings. I'm really pleased that it helps. If that does resonate with you and you will know who you are, feel free to contact me. Not for any sales or anything like that, but I feel you. And it feels quite important that those emotions be felt, because underneath with the cards there's a Four of Cups, and there's a real emotional dissonance going on with whether or not people can feel your worth, whether or not people can understand where you're at and what it is you're trying to do. And I hear you. Feel free to contact me at any point, but do know that for us all, whoever is watching this, and myself included, what we do does get seen. What we do is of value. What matters is how we determine that. What brings us harmony, what brings us joy, what helps us step into whatever it is we want to offer. We have to want to offer what we do as well, because we are part of it. So what I'm seeing is the scales, the justice scales. We are the middle part of it. So what we offer and what we receive, but if we're not centered in what that looks like and what that feels like in a harmonious way, that can really affect what we offer and what we receive. So really focusing on that on this weekend. I'm not going to be around on this weekend. I am taking a step back. The wheel balance there. I am taking a step back over the weekends to, well, practice what I preach, and that feels quite important that we actually put in place this weekend, all of us, the things that we say we're going to do. So what I see collectively is a lot of talk. This is what I want, this is what I'm willing to do, and the universe saying, so start and I will match you. There's a real potential of matching the energy that we put out this weekend. I don't mean in a karma punishing type way, I mean actually in an infinite flow here. So I'm stepping back this weekend. So whatever you're going through this weekend, make sure that you have someone you can reach out to, that you feel in a safe environment, that you can be held, that you can be seen, and your feelings can be validated, because they are of worth. You are of worth. And this weekend is going to bring up some of the shadow aspects that may say otherwise, particularly as we lead into the new moon. I was doing some of the research into the new moon blog yesterday, and it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be one where we can really look at the love that we want, whether we're getting it, and why we want it, and why we seek it from where we're seeking it. So allowing that to come up over the weekend is going to be quite pivotal as we go into the new moon, I think on the 2nd of October. Is there anything else? Well, I can't see anybody else in the video, so let's, in the video, well, of course, in the chat box, so let's see. Is there anything else to be handed over? It's really interesting because I can feel how it will be watched afterwards. Yeah, on replay. So, okay, is there a message for anyone that will see it on replay? Okay, so we've come back to the Four of Cups, the Ten of Wands, and the Hermit. And straight away, when I heard, is there a message for anyone that's watching it on replay? Show up. Show up if you want the answers. Show up in the questions. Show up in your availability for yourself. It's very much about how committed we are going to be over this weekend to the changes that we seek. Yes, we can feel fed up. Yes, we can feel quite despondent with what's going on, and it can really feel as if it's too much. And we can want to go within this weekend, and that's okay too, to go within and face the shadow. But remember to come back out with what we've found. Remember to come back out with the answers, but also in that further questions that we seek. And show up. Take our light out there. Only then, with the Hierophant, will we actually learn what it is we've discovered. Only then can we get and we've got the Empress underneath, which is beautiful. Only then can we get whatever it is we're trying to create from a different perspective. Otherwise, yeah, we're going to keep repeating the same things. Show up. in whatever way you feel drawn to do. Doesn't matter if it's perfect, doesn't matter if people snap you up or they want to be part of it. Do it for you. Whatever you're doing this weekend, do it for you, and know that it's that that's going to restore the balance. And if you can't, feeling into all the reasons that you can't in an environment that's safe and nurturing, get rid of it before the new moon. Get rid of it before the 10-10 portal if you can, in whatever way that you can. Ceremony, dance, journaling, screaming, ranting, fire ceremony, whatever it takes. But do something to restore the balance in your life. Show up for yourself. Take care. I'm going to quit it there because, yeah, there's no more comments and it is 1:20. I was only going to carry on till 1:30 anyway. Be firm in your decisions. Be firm in what you're willing to, and I will say it, put up with, not put up with, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And that in itself is showing up for yourself. There's no one else to convince but yourself. Get yourself on board. Yeah, and everything will start to shift this weekend. But be the balance that you seek. I'm not going to give you any more cliche words. Do it. Show up. And I'll see you when I see you. Take care.